Hi guys, welcome back to SwitchUp. Is this the week where we reach 100,000? Probably not, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? If you enjoy the content, then consider sticking around. Remember, at the end of this video, we'll be talking about a couple of games that you should avoid, which could save you a little bit of cash. Big thanks to Red Wings Aces of the Sky for sponsoring this video. Remember, we're giving away a copy of Children of Mortar, in fact a few copies each week at the moment, and hit that top comment because that's where we'll announce the winners from the last sales video. If you want to win this week's copies, I'm definitely not going to say leave a normal comment because we all know what happens there, but regardless, we will choose someone in some way. I don't know how, probably from one of their normal comments, to be honest. There are some amazing games on sale, and do stick around to the end because I'm going to throw in a few honourable mentions as well. And with that said, let's jump into the video. First up then is a title that I picked up because, well, someone recommended it down in the comments, and it's Mother Russia Bleeds. It's currently about 95% off, and it weighs in at around about a 3GB download. If you're not sure what it is, it's a super violent, cooperative brawler for up to 4 players at the same time. It's set in an alternative USSR and is based on a crew of imprisoned street fighters. Awesome. As well as the story mode, there's a full survival option where you and your pals can try and stay alive. It's pretty grim, this one. You can snap their necks, crush their skulls, and even tear the flesh off their bodies. Probably best not one played with kids. It's been out for a while, but it hasn't had a great deal of recommendations, and for this crazy cheap price, it's well worth picking up. Just be quick because it ends tomorrow. Thanks to Red Wings Aces of the Sky for sponsoring this video. For a sponsored section, you'll generally just hear factual information. However, in this case, my daughter and I have been smashing this game and we've been having a great time. It's very much an old school arcade flying game where the main campaign, which has 50 missions, is split into 2 parts, focusing on the Allied and the Axis forces. What's really cool, as I just mentioned, that you can play the entire game in split screen co-op with a partner or angry daughter who keeps crashing into you. There's a full skill tree so that as you work together and earn more points, you can then spend this on upgrading various different aspects of your planes. There are a number to unlock based on your performance on the different missions, with each having their own unique stats and handling slightly differently. Now, the game's going to be available on PC and other consoles, but the primary and first focus here is definitely the Nintendo Switch, which is nice to see. The game will cost you £17.99 or your regional equivalent and is out right now. All the links will be down in the description. Next up then, we've got Akane, which is on sale quite a lot and has an awesome looking title that reminds me of Akira and features one female protagonist who has a katana and a pistol, and it's very much a simple arcade title where you're just defeating enemies with one hit and then eventually fighting a boss after 100 enemies. It's super simple. Now I'm going to let you into a secret here, and this game is my perfect loading game. And here's what I mean by loading game. You need one. If you haven't got one, you need one. If you're anything like me, you open up your Nintendo Switch or Steam or whatever it is, and you sit there just scrolling and scrolling and you just can't decide what to play. You need a loading game. So I whack on Akane as soon as I open up my Switch. It's like, just go to that game, load it up, it's got to be done. And it gives you some time to think about the actual game you want to play. It works really well. I really recommend you giving it a go. And Akane for 89p at 80% off, well, that's not bad at all, and it only comes in at 250 gigs. This sale goes on until the 5th of June. Next up, we've got probably one of the best sales on Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom I've seen. It's currently 55% off. That goes on until the 17th of June. And this title clocks in at 5.2 gigabytes. Coming from the creator of the original Wonder Boy and Monster World series, this game promises to borrow the best from the classics, but deliver them in a fresh and modern way, and it really does do that. It's got lovely music. I enjoy the hand-drawn animations. They're quite different to the other game that I'm going to talk about next, but work really well here. They're a little bit more shantae. There are 6 different forms that you can take on, which allow for unique abilities. Through these, you'll unlock new paths, and there are quite a few secret areas in here as well. The game, in fact, is about 15 hours long, which is decent for this style. What I do like to say is that it runs at 60 FPS at full resolution in docked and handheld, which is perfect, and has good HD Rumble implementation. A really nice title, well worth picking up, and I very much doubt you'll be disappointed. For this price, it's a must-have really. Following on off the back of that one, and you'll see why in a second, we've got Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, which received a lovely fresh lick of paint from .emu. Now this clocks in at only 889 megabytes, and it's currently 60% off on sale, which takes it down to a ludicrous like £7. Unlike the previous title, this is very much dated, and I use that in air quotes, in terms of its gameplay, but it received that amazing HD facelift, but you can toggle between the old 8-bit and the current graphics on the fly with a single button press. If you never played the original, it may feel a touch dated in terms of gameplay, but it's still lovely. In many ways it works out a bit like a Metroidvania, whereby each of the different ability unlocks can lead you to a new area, and there are a few little secrets here and there, and you can play as Wonder Girl if you so choose as well. The sale goes on until the 27th, so you've got a few days left, and obviously it's fully Switch Lite compatible. Next up then, we've got a game called Terra Tech that not many of you will have played. Now, it's seen a couple of price drops just naturally, but now it's also got a nice chunky sale, taking it down to, I think, a very reasonable £13. This one goes on till the 31st, with a download size of only 900 megs, and is fully Switch Lite compatible. Now, it's essentially a little bit like Lego Technics. There is a campaign here of sorts where you're dropped onto a planet and start out really small, and then every enemy you kill you can pick up their parts and use them to gradually improve yourself. There's a number of missions from within the game, but it feels very sandboxy, and to be honest, I had a great time just building random things. Now, there's a sandbox mode here as well, where you can build different aeroplanes or tanks or whatever you want to build, as well as a few races that you can take part in with your ludicrous contraptions. I love stuff like this. If you've got kids, or if you're a big kid like me and like Lego, then I think you'll really enjoy this title. Get ready to buy a game if you haven't done so already. Here we go. First up for the US region then, we've got Revenge of the Bird King, and it comes in at an astronomically expensive 1 cent. 1 cent. What a ridiculous price. I thought it was going to be terrible. And look, if you don't like this style, it's very retro, but I had a go of it and it's quite good. It's got a funny tongue-in-cheek humour, a strange little mechanic where you drop a seed almost into the ground and a gun spurts out and you can then use that. And actually, it's decent. Yeah, it's got a few nice little mechanics in here. It's a cent. I don't think I need to give it too much PR, do I? My word. Yeah, if you like this style of game, then I think you could go much further wrong than spending a cent on this one. Next up, we've got the Studio Ghibli-inspired Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is a US-only sale, and it's about 5.8 gigs. It's pretty much exactly that. So it's not the largest file size for this style of game. Comes from Bandai Namco, and we've mentioned it a few times, and that's really because it's so good. Not only does it have those Studio Ghibli-inspired visuals, and they are inspired. A few people have said, oh, those aren't Studio Ghibli visuals. And I'm like, yeah, no, they're not. They're inspired by it. And then they're like, well, those are rubbish. And I'm like, well, actually, I think they're quite nice. And you'll have to see what you think from the visuals on screen. But I think it's also got a delightful little soundtrack here. Plus, his little companion Drippy is awesome. Not a bad pickup at all at 40% off.
That's right. A whole nother world. Let's be off, shall we?
You don't stand a chance.
We're going to defeat Shadar.
What Remains of Edith Finch was a game that I reviewed and thoroughly enjoyed. It's a story, almost walking simulator based in and around a house, and it's currently half price on sale with a download size of 2.3 gigs. Throughout your journey around the house, you uncover the story of the Finch family, which is quite chilling at times, with some really adult themes thrown in, but it's handled so well. I didn't rate the price at launch. I thought it was a touch on the expensive side. It's still a great game, but it's also quite a short one, and for me that was just not reflected in the price. Now, at the moment, at half price, this would be definitely the time to pick it up. It's won several awards and BAFTAs, but I would say perhaps go and check out my review, because I don't think it will appeal to everyone, but for those it does appeal to, it's gonna sink its hooks in and you'll remember certain scenes, well, forever I guess. Very interesting title and worth grabbing on that US sale. Saturday Morning RPG just hits a nerve for me, and it's a good nerve, it's not a bad one. It's currently a massive 80% off, taking it down to literal peanuts, and it clocks in at 900 megs. Reminds me so much of getting up in the morning on a Saturday, running downstairs, sticking the TV on, and then staying in some form of vegetative state while I consumed content from the screen. It's got loads of references in. You play as a character called Marty who's got some special abilities. There's some turn-based in here. There's just a bit of everything with so many references thrown in, and overall just a nice experience that is full of nostalgia if you're from a certain era, but even if you're not, I think there's a lot of fun to be had with this one. You can level Marty up as you go along, and there's a number of different locations including his hometown, Shadow Valley and beyond. Some of those references include DuckTales, Power Rangers, X-Men, Transformers, Rocky. Well worth a look at this crazy cheap price, and that sale ends on the 5th of June. Sparklight from Red Blue Games has seen a number of positive changes since it launched. It's currently 40% off with the sale going on until the 31st, with a download size of 1.5 gigs. This action adventure that can be played in local co-op has not only beautiful visuals, but the world of Sparklight is pretty decent. There are 5 different biomes that you can play through, loads of different gadgets, and some great boss fights as well. Now, the thing that might put some people off are the randomly generated biomes, but there are areas that aren't randomly generated that you return to that are really nicely handcrafted. As I say, it's received a number of patches since launch, and it feels to me like the developers just really love this game and are really paying attention to feedback in the community and working on it. So for that reason, it definitely gets a mention from me at about 11 quid. It's a bargain and well worth picking up.
She may fall, but she will get up and fight again, and we will help her.
Before we go on to the games you should avoid, let's just chuck in a couple of honourable mentions. State of Mind is a brilliant adventure title. That's currently 75% off, taking it down to £9, which is a complete bargain. You should definitely get that on the EU eShop. Also, all of the Deponia games have got a nice chunky little price drop on the EU shop. They're brilliant point-and-click adventure titles that have a great main character who is ridiculous, always embarrassing himself, and is scarily reminding me of myself right now. Grab the first one at 75% off. Then back over the pond, you've got Feudal Alloy, a nice little platforming / Metroidvania-ish title, 80% off at the moment. Complete bargain, lots of upgrades and different armor types you can apply to your little whatever you would call that knight. Well worth it at that price. And one more, which would be Under Hero, which is currently 40% off and just didn't get enough praise for my liking. You play as like the underling after the hero accidentally dies. It's very cool. It's around about $10. It offers a really nice punchy art style and good overall gameplay, and one to consider. Okay, let's move on to my favourite time of the week. It's where we talk about 2 games that you should absolutely avoid, like that delivery guy that just doesn't get social distancing and instead moves closer as you talk to them until they're stood on your doorstep, and inside you want to cause them some kind of physical harm to move them out the way, but you're too English and polite to do so. First of those is Beat Cop. Now, Beat Cop looked amazing. I thought this is going to be on point, but it misses every beat in terms of gameplay. It's hard to accurately describe what on earth the game is, as in all honesty, after my first hour of walking very, very slowly up a street and questioning different people, I was like, this just is not okay. I'm not enjoying this at all. So, you know, I'm sure for some you may enjoy it, but it just missed the gameplay part of game. And this next one is going to be a bit controversial. Now, I'm not saying this for everyone because I know for a fact there are people that really like this game, so this could get the flames going, but I don't care. I hated it. It was Void Space Racers. The control was appalling. I remember watching Glen try and play this, and I was like, no, you must just be rubbish. I took over. Oh, horrible. The smooshy, slidey mess. Didn't enjoy it at all. But you might look at this and, you know, all promotion's good promotion. You might see this and go, yeah, that looks great. Enjoy that one. Okay, so that's it for this week. Remember, please do subscribe as we head towards 100,000. Hit that top comment, have a look at some of the reviews in there if you want to, but also leave your congratulations to the people that have won a copy of Children of Morta this week. Leave a comment, maybe let me know some sale games you've picked up, or try and be funny by writing normal comment if you want to be really unique. And a big thanks. That was rude, wasn't it? A big thanks to our patrons who support us each and every month. What comes next? Oh yes. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!
mais dia maravilhoso nessa terra. Bom dia.